The main idea for today's talk is to better explain the process of a 1-2-2 zone defense in basketball. Using a 1-2-2 defense can be tricky because every coach explains it differently. The goal of a 1-2-2 zone is to put more pressure at the top of the key, which also leads into hindering ball movement. It can also be used to shut down a team who is really good at shooting threes. But within this defense, there are three weaknesses. One of those weaknesses being the baseline, which typically players from the offense cut in, which leads into a wide open layup due to miscommunication. Another weakness is the elbows on both sides, which also leads into an open shot. The third weakness is rebounding. Since it is a zone, typically rebounding is left out of the defense because you're guarding a space instead of a player. Now the structure of a 1-2-2 is designed to look like a 3-2. As you can see, the O's are defense and the X are offense. As you can see, the O's are all lined up here on the 3-point line as 3 and down below as 2. The people up top are typically quicker and probably smaller so that they can try to get interfered the ball movement instead of down here where these two people are taller and stronger. That way if people enter the paint, they're able to better guard the basket. So what is the movement of each player within the defense? We'll start with the top person. This person is, the main responsibility is to make chaos for the point guard. They are all up in their face, they want to put pressure on them, and typically they want to guide them to either one direction or another. And once they have guided them, let's say they pass the ball over here, it is now their job to drop down to the elbow shot. As I just explained earlier, the weakness is the elbow shot. Because if this person doesn't drop down to the elbow, the post from the offense is going to rise up and have that wide open shot. So, as mentioned, this person creates chaos, leads them one direction or another, and then drops down to the elbow. Now, both the wing's job is to also put pressure on the people who have the ball and create chaos. It is also their job to sometimes push them down to the baseline, which then creates a trap situation with the wing player and the post player that comes out. Now, these two players, as I mentioned before, are the taller players and the stronger players that protect the paint. They are the eyes of the defense. If they aren't communicating, then the defense falls apart. It is very important to communicate a lot within a 1-2-2. Now, as I mentioned before, if this wing pushes the player down into the baseline, it is a responsibility to trap. So these two people are now trapping. So what happens with this person? This person is supposed to hedge over to the other block. This person, as I mentioned before, drop down to the elbow, and it is this person's weak side elbow or weak side wing to drop down so that if they swing the ball, there's already a defender there to close out. Now, it can be tricky and there's a lot of holes to it, but if you get it down right, the defense is, you can't score off of it, basically. But as I mentioned before, it is very, very important to box out. As I mentioned, zone, typically boxing out, it's just, you forget about it. With man-to-man, it's easier because you're guarding a man instead of a space. But within zone, within a 1-2-2, we've trained our minds to guard a person instead of the area itself. So once a shot's up, you got to communicate that the shot is up, and then find a person within your space to box out. So obviously, the wing would box out this person, and so forth. In conclusion, there are many different defenses that are used in basketball. A 1-2-2 zone, I believe, is the most effective defense when playing against a team of shooters, and it also creates chaos, which disrupts their offense and speeds it up, leading them into creating turnovers. Now, if you ever become a coach, or you are currently playing basketball, or maybe you just don't know, or maybe you just want to know more about it, you can now better understand the ins and outs of a 1-2-2 zone defense in basketball.